Today I decided to give you guys a review of Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Or Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, but I'm going by what the actual movie says. This film is the third in the Tommy Jarvis trilogy that began with Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This time Tom Matthews plays Tommy Jarvis, and the film shows him going to Jason's grave, even though it mentioned in Part 5 he was cremated, but, it's fine, to dig him up and destroy his corpse. Tommy has gotten out of the asylum after being released, but he still has nightmares about Jason and wants to put his fears to rest once and for all. Upon stabbing him with a rod while his friend begs him to stop, the lightning rod is then hit by lightning, and Jason is resurrected Frankenstein monster style. He then goes on a rampage around Forest Green, previously known as Crystal Lake, and begins killing people in the surrounding town, as well as the lake itself. He's up to Tommy, with the help of the sheriff's daughter, to try and put Jason back to rest and try to stop him once and for all. That's the basic premise of the film, so now let's get into the good. First and foremost, the atmosphere and look of this film is amazing. Tom McLaughlin is the director, and John Cranhouse did the cinematography, and together they made a really great looking, if not the best looking, Friday the 13th film. Everything has like a moody, almost universal horror kind of look to it. There's lots of fog on the water and just beautiful use of shadows and lighting. It's really a great looking movie, and the director, I think, even admitted he was trying to make a movie that would look kind of like an old horror film and could even be watched in black and white. And if you want a good looking, atmospheric Friday the 13th film, this might be the best one. Another positive to the film is the soundtrack. I love all the soundtracks to the Friday the 13th movies, but this one has one of the best. Just great use of the iconic theme, and hell, you even get Alice Cooper on the soundtrack this time around with a great song, Man Behind the Mask. I'm a fan of Alice Cooper and seeing him join the franchise, and there was even a great music video that he made to go along with it. Another positive to the film is the cast itself. Tom Matthews plays Tommy Jarvis this time around, and he's the best of the three. I like Corey Feldman, but his Tommy was just kind of a kid. And John Shepherd from Part 5 was a decent Tommy, but kind of reserved and didn't have as much personality. Another positive would have to be Jason himself. CJ Graham does a great job, and it's the first time we see an undead Jason Voorhees, not counting the dream sequence from the first film. He's rotted, he's gross, he's powerful, and he's out to kill. There's a great intensity to him that you see this time around. This is the first time Jason is filmed like an icon. Especially the scene where he kills the couple in the RV van. It flips and he stands on top of it while flames shoot out in the background and smoke as he stands atop the rubble. Just shows that he really is a horror icon. And this film encapsulates that better than most of the films in the franchise. The rest of the cast does a good job too. The sheriff is played well. Megan is a great love interest. Even characters such as the guy who works at the cemetery are great as well. It's just a well-cast movie all around. It's well shot, and the action and horror aspects are really good. But now to the more mixed aspects, or the bad, as it were. The bad section is not really something I consider strictly bad, just problems that I have with the movie. The ugly is the section that I have for the real problems. But there are some mixed aspects here, and I'll get into them now. For one, the humor in the movie can be a little bit off-putting. I think some of the scenes are really funny. But there is also a scene where these paintballers who are in the woods and they're having a tournament, and the female paintballers pretty much kicking their ass. It's a fun little scene, but the music is really goofy in this part. And there's literally a part where a guy gets his head slammed against a tree with a spike sticking out of it, and his head falls down, and there's literally a bloody smiley face carved into the tree. Little things like that can be hit and miss. Humor is subjective, so I can't say it's necessarily a negative, but it's definitely an aspect of the movie that some people will like and others really won't. The humor here is not like Freddy's Dead, where it's just a comedy, but I do think it is probably one of the more lighthearted Jason movies. Not to the degree of, say, something like Jason X, but it's not the most serious movie, and I can see that maybe being a little bit off-putting to some people. Another aspect that I had a problem with is that the film doesn't really have any gore. There's also no nudity in the film, but that's completely fine. TNA is just something that was common in horror films of the time, but if you do like TNA, there's pretty much none to be had here. And if you like the gore, it's kind of mild. It's still R-rated, mind you. There is still some good violence here, The MPAA was really hard on the series at this point, and there's not a whole lot of crazy, gory kills. There's a few, but it's pretty tame by today's standards, and even 80s standards. And lastly, the only really thing that I had a problem with is that this is the only Friday the 13th movie where kids are actually at the camp, which is fine, and you think maybe that would lead to some tension, but the kids are never really in any danger. You even see a scene where Jason goes into their sleeping quarters, walks up to one of the girls, looks at her, and then just walks off. He has no interest in killing kids, which is fine. I don't mind Jason having, his own kind of set of rules and standards, but there's really no tension when it comes to the kids, and they're not in any real danger. There's even a great scene where two of the kids are hiding under the bed when shit goes down, and one kid says to the other kid,
"So, what were you gonna be when you grew up?"
That's not to say you have to have these kids in peril for me to enjoy the film, but it seems like they were adding them in there to maybe make you think that there could be another element of danger, but it doesn't really lead to anything. Apart from those small gripes, though, I have no real problems with this movie. I think that it's highly entertaining. The soundtrack is great. The atmosphere is great. Jason is magnificent. There's an awesome Tommy Jarvis. And of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, which would be 4, 5, and 6, this is without a doubt the best entry in that trilogy. This was the start of the Undead Jason era, and it really was the best of that era as well. I'm going to have to give Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6, a 9 out of 10. It really is a classic of the 80s, and if you enjoy Friday the 13th, you're going to really like this one. And if you've never seen one, this is not a bad place to start. Mind you, if you want some backstory, I do recommend watching the ones before this. But if you just want a fun slasher film and don't care too much about the continuity, start here. This is the start of the horror season, and I'm going to have a few more videos this month to celebrate the Halloween season. But let me know what you think of this film down below. Is this one of your favorites, or do you prefer some of the slightly more serious Jason movies, or even some of the newer ones? I thank y'all for watching, and peace out.